Hey folks, how are you doing?
Hey,
Hello.
doing good.
Glad to hear it. We will welcome to the FireFly community call. We will get started here in just a few minutes.
Hey,
Hey Sam, welcome.
I'm getting Enrique here in just a second as well.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, good, Enrique. All right, sounds like several of the other maintainers are in a meeting that's running a little bit long, so we'll give them a minute or two to join here. Welcome, Dennis. Glad to have you today.
Hey guys.
Well, I tell you what, in the interest of time, I might go ahead and kick off the community call and might just re reorder the agenda so that we have a demo today and a vote. And I think I know more of the maintainers will be joining, and they can always go back and catch up on the video recording of the demo afterward. But they do need to be here for the vote. So, Alexi, are you ready to go with your demo? Are you okay with
Yes,
switching the? Okay,
yes,
great.
sure.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and kick things off. Welcome to today's Hyperledger FireFly community call, everyone. Just a couple quick housekeeping things before we jump in. As always, this is a public and recorded call, so don't say anything that you don't want to be public and recorded. And as always, we need to abide by the Hyperledger antitrust policy, which has been on your screen for a minute, and the Hyperledger code of conduct. So just those are all the usual disclaimers. Today's agenda you can find linked on the wiki page for today's call. We will be holding a vote here shortly. We'll be Alexi's going to walk us through a demo of some new functionality in the Tezos connector and all the way through FireFly Core. And we'll also comment briefly on the status of FireFly 1.3. So that's the agenda for today. With that, I will turn it over to Alexi. Thank you.
Yes, so let me share my screen. Okay, do you see my screen?
Yep, looks good to me.
Okay, I would like to present a short demo about the new functionality at Tezos connector, which was implemented and merged recently. It's the functionality gives ability to deploy Tezos contract using the Swagger API. Before introducing this functionality for deploying the contract, for example, we have here the simple contract. We must go to Smart CPI, and here we have this functionality, the button deploy contract, and here we should choose a few things like node and network, our account, and so on. And after this, we will able to deploy the contract. So I implemented the functionality which gives ability to do this via a Swagger API from FireFly Tezos connector. So actually we have the API which called contracts deploy, which is responsible for these things. Here we have the contract. At contract we have two fields. This is the code. So the code here is the representation, Michelson representation of the contract, Tezos contract. Actually, the difference between the for example Ethereum, at Ethereum we have two fields, like two separate fields for the instruction for the code and for definition, where we define the type of all variables which present in this contract. Here at Tezos we have all both these things in one place. So it's under the Michelson code. And here we have the JSON representation of this code. And the second field which we have, it's the storage. The storage, this is the initial variables which we have at our contract. So let's deploy this contract, call this API. So yeah, for now the contract is not deployed, it's in pending status. We can call operations to see that the deploy is over, using the ID which returned by the deploy. So it's still in pending. Let's maybe try to wait a little bit. That's weird. Why it's stuck in pending status. So let's maybe a little bit wait, or try once again. That's strange why it's stuck. It's pending status. Meantime, I described that we have some additional information for the deployed contract, like the address and some additional fields. So let's see, maybe. Mm-hmm. That's strange. It seems like it's for some reason stuck. Yeah, maybe let's try to deploy once again. That do
Is
not
it-
waste.
Sorry, I would
Yeah.
that's the new status address. Maybe you don't have enough gas for that.
It seems I have enough. That's strange because I just tried to do this before the demo and it works. Let's maybe try once again and maybe something goes wrong. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's take a look. Oh, okay, just run it. Mhm. Okay, contract deploy. Let's try to deploy once again.
I think you just can use confirm flag true, and you don't need to check the operation. It will
Yeah, maybe.
complete synchronously.
Sometimes when you run locally, it's has some issues when we set this to true and wait. That's a bit strange, but let's assume that it was some troubles. You see that the new attempt, like, it succeed. And here, as I said, we have additional informations, like extra info, and the most interesting part is the address, which we will use for calling the contract. So let's quickly take a look at the whole flow, like make sure that we actually can call this contract. For this, let's create the interface like this, for example. This one already created. For example, this executed. Okay. Here we're interested in this ID, and now let's the broadcast our interface and our contract. And here, let's take a look at, let's copy the address of our deployed contract. Strange, where is?
Get operation, not deploy.
Operation, yeah, you're right. You are right. Operations. This one, yeah. Okay. So we make a broadcast and So that's I do not change the name. It's also already exists. Yeah. Now it's created, and we can quickly check that we can call our contract. Here we are interested at get. So let's take a look that we have initially have. Okay, this is done. This is done. Initially have. Yeah. We should have 12 as initial value. Our contract. Yes. And we can also quickly call another method which change this values to some another value. Okay, and so once again call this one simple method, and yeah, we have the so yeah, I think we do not change. Let's take a look. That's maybe I do not call this.
What's the
The
period on this particular chain? Like how many seconds does it take to mine one? And are you waiting for a certain number of confirmations?
yes, I think it might take time. That's why we do not see the changes. But
Open the contract explorer. We will see if there is a transaction.
okay. Or maybe we can just wait a little bit. Just wait a little bit. Let's once again. That's strange that this value do not change. Let's try to change once again. This changed. Yeah, I think that it might be like required some confirmation, and the time will be the different. And you see that this changes like immediately applied, and for the previous we just do not wait
Can
until
you
the
open
end.
the contract explorer, please? Because like it's interesting why the last transaction was completed pretty fast, and we will see if there are recent transactions there.
Okay, let's take a look our
It's not the contract address.
we need contract address. Contract address. Oops. It was at operations, yes. Contract address. This one. This one. Okay. It's I believe this one. I think
Contract
this.
address. Just put the contract address in the search.
But it's all operation, I believe, for this contract address.
It's for the user.
Okay. So we see only this one. This is the set.
You can take a look at it later, because like the main purpose was to show that contract was deployed, and I think it was successful.
Yeah, because we just see that the change on the number 3, it's like applied immediately. So yeah, that's it from my side. So I stop sharing.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Alexi. It's awesome to see the Tezos stack, or the kind of the Tezos part of FireFly continue to get new features like this kind of all throughout the stack. So that's great, and look forward to seeing that continue to mature, and more features being continued to be built out there. All right. With that, I do believe we have a quorum of maintainers on the call now, and so we're going to transition to the votes. And so at our last community call, we had, I'll just share my screen to pull up the agenda page again here real quick. There we go. Okay, so at the last community call, we had 3 proposals to add new maintainers: Enrique, Sam, and Alexi. All 3 of them have been very active in the code base, and I linked their GitHub profiles there. Hopefully existing maintainers have had a chance to check out their work if they're not familiar with it. But I would like, I don't know, Jim, do we have to have a formal motion to vote?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, well,
Probably
moved.
by maintainer, by candidate.
Okay. Yeah, well, I move to hold a vote to add Enrique. I'm just going to go in the order that they were proposed and written on the agenda, and add Enrique as a maintainer to FireFly. And again, just for clarification, this vote is to give someone the title of maintainer, which gives them they're a representative of the project, and it does not give them specific write permissions to a specific repo. That's handled as a separate process by the existing code owners of that repo. And there's the exact mechanics of how that happened. Hyperledger is actually in the middle of changing right now, but the process there is a PR to a repo to update a set of groups. And so existing code owners on a specific repo will approve adding, for example, it would make sense to add Alexi as a code owner on the Tezos Connect repo, because he's very active in that code, as an example. So anyway, just for clarification on exactly what we're voting on, it's to add them as a maintainer to the group of maintainers and as a representative of the project.
So Nico, I would suggest for the procedure, you do the roll call and then ask someone else to do the motion and second.
Okay, sounds good.
So I can do the motion for the first one. Who did you say was the first candidate?
Enrique was proposed first.
Okay, so I'll motion to make Enrique a FireFly maintainer.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Yeah, do you want me to second that, Jim? I'm very happy to.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank you, Matt. Yeah, so I will do a roll call. We do already have a written vote on record from Chung for this as well. That was sent via the email distro.
And that was a yes, right?
That was a yes.
Okay.
Correct. Okay. Alex.
Here, I'd say yes.
Yeah, it's just yes or no. If I'm calling your name, it's because I know you're here. Thank you. Andrew.
Was that Andrew? I vote yes.
Thank you. Dennis.
Yes.
Hayden.
Yes.
Peter.
Yes.
Jim.
Yes.
Matthew.
Yes.
Awesome. That is unanimous. We have a quorum, so the vote passes. Welcome to officially being a maintainer, Enrique.
Thanks, everyone. Looking forward to it.
All right, next up is Sam. Someone like to put a motion forward?
Yeah, I motion Sam should be a maintainer. It's Peter here.
Jim here, I'll second that.
Excellent, thank you. I'm going to go in a different order in the roll call here. Matthew.
Yes.
Peter.
Yes, if I can find the mute button.
Excellent. Jim.
Yes.
Dennis.
Yes.
Hayden.
Yes.
Alex.
Yes.
Andrew.
Yes.
And we also have a written vote from Chung as a yes ahead of the call as well. And the vote is also unanimous. We have a quorum and the vote passes. Welcome to being a maintainer, Sam.
Fantastic. Thank you. Looking forward to making more contributions.
Awesome. Glad to have you officially part of the project as a maintainer now. All right. And the last proposal was to add Alexi as a maintainer as well. Someone like to put forth a motion?
A motion that he be a maintainer. Yeah, Nico, yeah, I'm happy to propose him as a maintainer.
Great. Do we have a second?
I can second Alex here.
Thank you, Alex. All right. I'm trying to randomize the order here. Getting creative in how I'm going through the list here. Hayden.
Yes.
Sorry, was that a yes or no?
Sorry. Yes.
Thank you. Maybe looking for his mute button still. We'll come back to Peter. Jim.
It's a yes.
Matthew.
Yes.
Peter.
Yes.
Alex.
Yes.
Dennis.
Yes.
Andrew.
Yes.
All right, I'm missing one. Sorry, I'm randomizing the list. Who have I not called on? Oh, Chung. His
Yeah.
written vote was also yes. Awesome. So the vote is also unanimous and passes. Welcome, Alexi, to being a maintainer. Oh, you're muted.
Thank you, guys. Glad
Thank
to
you.
hear a bit back.
Awesome. Well, I will go ahead and after today's call, we'll update the appropriate groups and add folks so that we'll make it officially official, and you will actually be able to have maintainer privileges across various things. All right. Thank you all for that sort of business side of things here. One other item on the agenda for today was just a quick update on the FireFly 1.3 release. We've been making great progress on it. I'm optimistic that we are days away. We've had a lot of fixes and a lot of testing that has gone on since our last community call. We're about to cut another release candidate and just rerun tests on it, particularly the performance tests, but all the migration testing is done. We've been continuing to update that GitHub issue that we walked through last time on just the various tasks related to that. And we've found, little things here and there that have been fixed and improved, but nothing major, nothing show-stopping. So it's been a good release candidate type testing and fixing. And I think we're getting really close. So I'll be sure to wave the flag high and loud when we are official, but it should be here very soon. And just thank you all for your help who have been helping contribute to that, and whether it's writing code or reviewing code or just talking through interesting things that we have found along the way. Appreciate the big team effort from everyone that has been involved in that. Any questions on the 1.3 release?
It's just a quick one to follow up from something that you demoed, Nico, I think at the last community call. You were showing a way of running a local stack, actually running in a local cluster rather than just through Docker. I'm just wondering if you made any more progress with that.
Yeah, so I basically got that up to a point where you could run all of that with, I was focused on running an Ethereum stack, and it can run a current release 1.2.2, and it can run 1.3 and allows for an upgrade between them using those Helm charts. All of my changes are in branches. I don't recall off the top of my head if I actually pushed the button to open a PR, but if I haven't, I will do that. But yeah, the goal is to PR those back to the Helm charts so that I need to update. There's some more readmes that definitely need to get updated and things like that before it's actually ready to merge. But I have pushed all the changes to branches, so anybody can check those changes out and try them, but they're not quite ready to merge yet, just because docs and instructions need to be written.
So I do think that that's a really important thing we'd like to state is there in the 1.3 release, Nico. So I think it's worth us getting closed on that. That at 1.3, it's the path to a development environment that's on a Docker, like a Kubernetes cluster remotely, just a development environment still. Like we're not going further than that, but just like a running environment running remotely rather than running environment running on my laptop. I think that's a really valuable piece of work. We've been asked for quite a lot. So I think it'd be great to have that in 1.3.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. Yep, I see no issue with getting that merged as and have it there ready for the release as soon as it's ready. And I think that's a really good suggestion. Thanks.
So the other piece of work that I'm aware of in flight on 1.3, maybe just take a minute. Oh, we've got the maintainers together here. So for 1.3, I know that there's the Fire 17 work that's closing out. It's waiting on review on me. The other piece that I'm aware of, actually just from some side conversations I was having with Matt Whitehead, was just when you're submitting transactions and something goes wrong, particularly just using two Hyperledger products together, right? I'm using Hyperledger FireFly with Hyperledger Besu. You don't get error information correctly out through the stack, and we had, I think I started like there was an issue. I started like one of the PRs in the chain. I think Matt recently found we're doing some ugly things by running debug transactions, which are very performance intensive. we should roll back to just using some features that are native inside of Besu. And I wanted to check, is that just being considered a bug as part of 1.3? Is that gonna follow up afterwards? I wonder how you were thinking about that one, Matt.
Yeah, so the one thing that I merged earlier this week was around getting the benefit out of a receipt containing a revert reason if it's already set. So if you're using a chain where you've decided to set that on your nodes, like using the Besu revert reason enabled flag, then we can skip a whole bunch of very heavyweight CPU load and network IO, asking the node to rerun a transaction and give us the entire log back. One thing I'm looking at is whether or not we can guide people on what the relative cost of enabling revert reasons in receipts on a chain is, because it tends to be recommended that for public network nodes, you don't necessarily do that without at least giving it quite a lot of consideration. I think memory consumption can go up quite a lot. I don't know to what extent that's an issue for enterprise networks. So that merged anyway, because it's a zero cost. If you've turned it on, FireFly can now get the benefit from it. There was some so I think that would go into 1.3 unless I don't think we're working on for a branch right now, right? There was some other discussion.
So the reason why I think it's coupled to 1.3 is at 1.2, I don't think we called debug trace transaction. So we've introduced two things. One is debug trace transaction, which is potentially very problematic. I think Jim Zhang did the work there. We've decided that's potentially very problematic. We've got an alternative that you can turn on, but I think if it's in a fallback approach, so what I'm worried about is there someone who upgrades where maybe there's actually like a big negative that they get. So that's one worry that I've got, which is why I feel like you need to, I think, get just to the point of like, this is what right looks like, and this is what 1.3 should ship with. I think it may not be very much code change, and we need the docs to be clear, like what do you or don't you get? Because there was another very closely related problem, which was, as well as not getting a revert reason at all, when you did have debug trace transaction, you weren't getting the revert reason when you viewed custom errors, which is the way most contracts are written nowadays, is to have the custom errors. So it'd be interesting to know, like, with whatever options we've got, like for each of the options, what's the potential hazard of turning it on, and make sure we're safe by default, which I'm not sure we are safe by default right now. And what do or don't you get with them? So for example, if Besu's feature handles custom errors, brilliant. If custom errors is deferred from 1.3 to 1.3.1, then that's fine. But I think sorry, bit of a ramble, but I think it's just, you see what I mean? Just like at 1.3, making sure our docs say, maybe it's we've got little docs pages for references, like revert reasons for receipts. Like, well, with this option, this is what you get. This is what you have to do in your node. With this option, this is what you get. This is what you have to do in your node. And then no, like this hasn't been solved. It's a roadmap item, something like that, maybe.
Yeah, I certainly think the doc's point is very valid. Having something which explains the sequence of calls that will make when a transaction is in failed status. I think that's an easy one for 1.3.
Well, I think more than the calls, it's like, what do you get if you turn it on, and what's the potential impact? I don't think we can turn anything on by default, right? We can't make you turn on the feature on the node side. And also, even if you've got the feature turned on the node side, it's not safe for us to automatically turn on debug trace transaction on our side. So if you enabled the RPC recall, and you're doing reasonably low transaction volume, like 100 TPS or whatever, if you start sending lots of failed transactions and at 100 TPS, I believe it would be unsafe to have the option in production turned on where we even fall back to running debug, because what you might do is actually damage your node by asking it concurrently to debug 100 things within a single second.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree, especially as we've seen in testing recently with large transactions. you can end up with hundreds of megabytes being produced by the node. There is the obvious trade-off of the kind of usability convenience that without me having to set something manually, if I've got reverted transactions, I conveniently see or the error in the FireFly transaction versus the possible downside in a 100 TPS case. So I
think what you've said is that you get that you use two Hyperledger products together in the development environment by default. The default settings that we encourage and the CLI for that are going to give you revert reasons, and they're going to use the efficient version, which is the revert reason is generated and processed in Besu and returned in FireFly. So the CLI is going to do that by default for FireFly in your development environment. Probably the new thing that Nico's helped us get of like the Helm based environment is going to do that by default. You're going to get that by default. That's what I reverse engineered from what you've been saying.
That's currently certainly true. Yes. Yeah. The other current default is that if that's not there, then we do make the debug trace transaction call. And for me,
I don't think that's safe.
Yeah, and so I think for me that's I'm defaulting that to off probably means that a lot of users in a development setting are not going to see error messages for their failed transactions while they're doing kind of Solidity development work, unless they go and turn that on manually, because I think the chances are they're probably not going to have revert reason turned on in their Ethereum chain, whether it's Besu or Geth or whatever. I do think there's a trade-off there. Maybe we play safe and we default to off for debug trace transaction in 1.3.
So I think I've probably gone past what makes sense like on a big maintainer call. But do you see why I think like the hour or two's just like close out engineering with you making those decisions, writing the doc, getting the PO up, feels like that's a 1.3. And particularly knowing, do custom errors work in any of those scenarios, or are custom errors still just fundamentally broken? Because I think most people are going to be using custom errors now for new smart contracts, and custom errors currently do not work with debug trace transaction.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Okay, I'll do that.
Thanks, Matt. Sorry for the long diversion there.
No, that's okay. Thank you for raising that, Peter. I'm not sure if the punchline there is that impacts my previous statement that we might be days away from a finished release. But
no, it doesn't. I think I'm just asserting that there's a piece of work that Matt's committed to helping fit into that days of closeout.
Excellent. Okay. Yeah. Let's keep me in the loop on that, Matt, and we can follow up separately after this call.
Yeah, sure, will do.
Cool. Okay. The last thing that I wanted to mention is kind of we've brought several new maintainers on lately, and this has been great, and just seeing the community continue to grow. As some of you may be aware, I will be actually transitioning in my role here in the very near future. And as a part of that transition, I am going to be stepping away from being a maintainer on FireFly. It's been a wonderful 3 years. I have just absolutely loved working on this project and love working with all of you all and seeing this community grow and thrive, and lots of cool use cases adopt FireFly. And I'm still super excited about the project. I'm just making I'm actually making a pretty significant career change, and we'll actually not be working on software anymore for at least the near future. And so in order to kind of focus on my new work, I'm just going to be stepping away from the project. And I am super confident in the project still, and confident that you all will be able to continue to carry on the torch without me. But just wanted to let folks know. I'll also post on Discord so that the broader community is also aware of that change. For those of you wondering, Enrique will be stepping into a lot of kind of the the community side of the role of what I do and helping run these calls. And he's already been getting some experience doing that. And over the next few weeks, I'm going to be continuing to ramp him up on just kind of some of the community growth things that I do in the background to help the project continue to move smoothly. So yeah, just kind of wanted to put that announcement out there. And if folks have questions about that or want to chat about that more, I'm happy to have those conversations as well.
We'll miss you, Nico. I think the community has benefited quite a bit from your work. To the extent that I can speak for the community, I think thanks for all the work you've done.
Yeah,
Thank you, Jim.
agree with Jim. Thank you, Nico.
Yeah, thank you, Jim. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate that.
I do think a lot of that's been across Hyperledger as well, Nico. So thank you for all you've done across the community. I think for this community, one of the things that we'll be thinking about is going to be there's a lot of different things you do, Nico. Some of them are technical, some of them are communication, some of them are about the community engagement. And I'm not sure it's necessarily immediately just going to be like all of those things hand over to just one individual immediately. So
right.
let's be thinking about that over the coming weeks.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's why I preface that with some of what I do. And I think it's still a conversation about figuring out exactly what that set is and who maybe others of this group that pick up other aspects of that as well. So happy to continue having that conversation. Yeah. Any other questions, comments, any other topics that we want to discuss while we're together today? Nope. Okay. Well, we can wrap it up there and get a few minutes back then. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for a great call today. Once again, welcome aboard to the new maintainers, and look forward to getting you fully onboarded and continuing to contribute to the project. So hope you all have a great rest of your day. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.